T-minus 9 minutes. T-minus 8 minutes. T-minus 7 minutes. T-minus 6 minutes. T-minus 5 minutes. minus 3 minutes. T minus 2 minutes. T minus 1 minute. Stand by.
How about that?
Well, I'm just going to warn you right now. All hell is broken loose on this Tuesday. So what a wonderful time to be doing sports talk. We are live streaming right now on the Game Plus channel, YouTube Live with our own channel, podcast, of course, and WQVZ going to air in Nevada in hour 2. It's always a highlight when SiriusXM NFL Radio's Zig Fracassi joins us, and he will in hour 2. So get your NFL questions and comments ready for that. It's always a highlight when Scruffy joins us. Mitchell Scruffy. Blair is here as we set sail. We got a lot to get today. World Cup, CFL, NFL, college football. Remembering our good friend Kyle Calder, who passed away yesterday. And Mitch, have you seen the NHL trade that just came down the pipe? You're always on top of this stuff.
No, I haven't. I've
All
been
right.
running around this morning.
Mhm.
Not able to really dial in yet. I just sort of basically got in before signing up for you.
Well, that's why you and I are a good pair. If I'm not on it, you're on it. If you're not on it, I'm on it. So here's the big news, and it's June the 16th for those that don't have a calendar. And there's big NHL news. The Toronto Maple Leafs have traded goaltender Joseph Woll and defenseman Simone Benoit to the Philadelphia Flyers for goalie Samuel Ersson, defenseman Emile Andre, and a third-round pick in the 2026 NHL draft. So I know everybody's saying, get to the other stuff that's going on, World Cup football. Well, this is an earth-shattering trade. I'll be honest, I don't think it's a good one for the Leafs, but it's all we're going to hear about for the next several days. You got all the principles in that, right?
Yeah, and I'm just trying to figure out what the Leafs have done.
Sorry to drop that bomb on you. It was literally just minutes before we went to air.
Joseph Wall, basically for Samuel Urson.
Yeah, basically, yeah. You're sending a number one for a backup, in my mind. That's what I'm reading. That's how I've read it, and I think that's what you're reading. And I'll be honest, when I saw
Like
the
the
Leafs
other
come
two
through,
guys, that's interchangeable parts. But that's it?
well, you never really know what they're thinking.
So,
But I'll tell you, yeah, I saw the Leafs come through and late in the season in Sunrise. Literally, the only guy trying was Simone Benoit on the Leafs. He's the only guy that cared, so he seemed to me like a rugged heart and soul guy. So anyways, that's the big news. This ain't Leafs TV. This is the opening segment brought to you by Uniglobe Carefree Travel. We do want to talk about our good friend Kyle Calder. You knew him. I knew him. I was really close to him. I was just with him in Chicago last year, 47 years of age, passing away from Manville, Alberta. I'll tell some stories about Kyle Calder later on this hour. Anybody that knew him, he is one of the funniest guys I've ever met. Kyle Calder played with the Regina Pats in one of the greatest eras of Pats hockey, 1995 to 1999, and then 10 years in the NHL, mostly with Chicago. A lot of hockey people in mourning today, Scruffy, especially his family, so condolences to them and people that knew Grease, Kyle Calder.
Kyle Calder will not go down as one of the all-time great Regina Pats. But for those of us that were around the Agrodome, the Brandt Center, for the many years from like the 80s until the 2000s, and maybe even the 2010s, Roddy, was there a bigger character than Kyle Calder?
Not really. I mean, the fans are in
You have
mourning.
told me a lot of stories about Kyle Calder on the road. I know the former general manager of the Pats, Brent Parker, one time told me a bunch of stories about Kyle Calder. He worked his ass off on the ice, and he had fun off of it. And it was good fun. Like, he wasn't a bad guy.
No.
So when I say fun, he loved life. And
well,
yeah,
it would be nice.
Hard when I saw the Instagram post this morning.
Yeah, I think it hit us all hard. And listen, they don't do hot stoves anymore. Or if they even had a golf tournament, the Pats, in the last I saw, they haven't even acknowledged his passing as of the last I checked their Instagram. But whatever. But I could sit on a mic with you or whom and tell Kyle Calder's stories forever because he's so flippant. He used to take the puck like after the whistle. If there was a faceoff coming up anywhere around the blue line, he'd grab the puck and take it to the bench with him. And just set it on the boards and just watch the linesman look around for the puck. Where's the puck? We thought we had it around here. And then once he'd had enough of that, he would just throw them. Here you go, guys. On the road, we would always go to Boston Pizza. And he was always flipping out his Air Miles card. And after like the 27th time of doing it, the coaches caught him. They're like, what are you doing? Getting my BP points, my Air Mile points. It was Rich Preston. And Rich, he was like 16. And Rich was like, I guess we can't stop you for doing that. But he had like millions of Air Miles because he was every team meal. He would go pop his card down at Boston Pizza. And we stayed close. We went to Chicago. He was always on my talk show. You remember the old sports line. And one time I said, hey, Grease, how's it feel to be playing on a line with Alexei Zhamnov with the Chicago Blackhawks? And you know the way he talks. He was on the phone from Chicago. He's like, why don't you ask Zhamnov how it feels to be playing with me? That's him, right?
Yep.
That's him. So very memorable. He
was, as I said, he was a character, and though the people like you, me, Van Stone, Daryl Davis, Craig Adam, those that sort of were covering the Pats in those days, we got to see the Kyle Calder off the ice. The fans got to see him on the ice and a little bit of him when he's doing some appearances. But he was just one of a kind.
Well, I'm just warming up with stories. I'll get to them all later. Somebody said, Scott in Vancouver writes, and he says, Kyle Calder was still a young guy. What the hell? He was 47. I think the family's made a statement on that to respect the privacy and the accuracy of this. I mean, I don't want to. Here's the difference in me now, because Mitch has had a front row seat of my career from day one, pretty much. I listen now. I listen. I'll let the family say whatever they want to say. Similar to hanging out with the BC Lions on Saturday. Don't do this. Okay, I won't. I listen now. So I'm not, he passed away at the age of 47. It doesn't necessarily matter how. What I will tell you is he didn't take his own life. He didn't take his own life, but just follow, different than Claude Lemieux. But I listen now. I'm not, I know, but it's not for me to say. Let's put it that way. It's just sad, okay? Because he leaves behind young kids, and I got the whole story from him when I was just with him a year ago in Chicago. Jason in Red Deer writes, and he says, I watched a few Pats games with Calder in the lineup back in the late 90s. Do you understand? Not many people would remember a guy 30 years later from junior, but everybody does. That just tells you all the thing you need to know about Kyle Grease Calder.
Right. And not only that, Roddy, but as I said, was he one of the all-time greatest Pats? Was he a star? No. But he was a guy that you didn't forget.
And that's what we're talking about today.
About
we'll be right back. We'll be right back.
Across America, Country Thunder Music Festivals bring you the biggest superstars. See unforgettable performances by Zach Top, Lainey Wilson, Brooks and Dunn, Keith Urban, Riley Green, the Red Clay Strays, Kane Brown, Gavin Adcock, and so many more. Join the party under the desert sky in Arizona, on the sandy shores of the Gulf in Florida, or in gorgeous Wisconsin Lake Country. It's the music you love, live and loud. Tickets, hotel, and camping info available at countrythunder.com.
Looking for a new ride without the big city pressure? Come to Western Dodge in Moose Jaw, where you'll find an unbeatable lineup of Ram trucks, Jeep SUVs, Dodge Muscle, and Chrysler family rides. With knowledgeable staff, great prices, and that friendly Moose Jaw touch, you'll drive away with confidence. Western Dodge. Big selection, small town service. Visit us today or browse online at westerndodge.ca.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too.
Al-Anon and
Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Across America, Country Thunder Music Festivals bring you the biggest superstars. See unforgettable performances by Zach Top, Lainey Wilson, Brooks and Dunn, Keith Urban, Riley Green, the Red Clay Strays, Kane Brown, Gavin Adcock, and so many more. Join the party under the desert sky in Arizona, on the sandy shores of the Gulf in Florida, or in gorgeous Wisconsin Lake Country. It's the music you love, live and loud. Tickets, hotel, and camping info available at countrythunder.com.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with The Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Ultimate Fan Zone, taking our show on the road coast to coast. Shop online, ultimatefanzone.ca. Slick, user-friendly. We built this site for the die-hard sports fans. Jerseys, hats, team apparel, offering officially licensed fan gear from the best lines in sports. Nike, New Era, Adidas, Fanatics. Game day ready to your door. Now, just a click away, ultimatefanzone.ca, or check us out on Facebook and Instagram. UFZ Downtown Moose Jaw, home of everything authentic.
21-time nominated Grammy Award winner Dwight Yoakam. Live in concert. June 24th, 7 p.m., Temple Garden Center. Dwight Dwight Yoakam. On sale now at sasktix.ca. Dwight Yoakam Live.
All right, jumping right back into it. The Western Dodge text line is open, 902-518-3033. Drive with confidence. Shop Western Dodge. Financing, selection, and service you can count on. Just one more on the passing of Kyle Calder, the former Pat, 10-year NHLer. Vintage Sasko writes in on the Western Dodge text line. He says, Rod, my condolences on the passing of Kyle Calder. I remember your call on the radio way back then. With a move like that, he may win the Calder. Way too young. Sincerely, Sasko. I did say that 30 years ago. I can't believe he remembers. Breaking news out of Vegas. Did you see this?
There are two pieces of breaking news since we went to break.
Well, number one, the Vegas Golden Knights. This is Hornworthy. Kelly McCrimmon, the general manager, announcing John Tortorella will not be back next season as the head coach of the Vegas Golden Knights. I'll push Kelly's statement and all the rest into hour two. That's the one piece. What else did you see?
Hockey Night in Canada will no longer be on CBC. That is a stunner.
Nothing surprises me. None of any of this surprises me.
Well, that's a stunner. Like, when you think of CBC, you think of Hockey Night in Canada in the wintertime. And Hockey Night in Canada not being on CBC? Maybe this will have all the boomers that are upset with the CFL changes getting in another soapbox to voice their disgust.
Mitch, don't stop. I don't even want to go that. Can we just get through this show today? Again, I did see that. To me, that's not that earth-shattering. I saw it somewhere on Twitter or Facebook. CBC and Sportsnet jointly announced that beginning when? This upcoming season? They're done?
Next year.
They're done.
Next year?
They're done. CBC will never air another. Yeah, okay. Well, I saw Chris Johnston, our good friend from The Athletic, and I think he's on TSN, saying effectively this ends Hockey Night in Canada. But it doesn't, because it will be Hockey Night in Canada on Sportsnet. For the love of God, who only has CBC? Who even watches CBC? Why is this such a big deal?
Here's one for you, and I'm just going to throw it out there. TSN will pick up the Saturday night package because they don't have football on Saturday night anymore.
Right. Let's get with it. Nobody's got rabbit ears. To me, it's not that. Who didn't see that coming? I'm actually shocked they're still airing it. Or were.
I am. I'm shocked because I thought that's one of the products that CBC could at least hang their hat on was Hockey Night in Canada.
Well,
like, what are we going to get more now? More Rick Mercer? Oh, boy.
I saw Rick Mercer in
Schitt's
concert.
Creek? Oh, bring it on, baby. Bring it on.
That's my point. I don't even know what they're airing anymore. David Suzuki. I actually had coffee beside a guy in Aurora, Colorado on my way up here, and I thought it was David Suzuki. I was at a Starbucks. I'm like, I found David Suzuki. He's in this Denver suburb at a Starbucks. Yeah, not working there, producer. No. That's where they put old retired CBC guys working at a Starbucks.
Do you remember David Suzuki was at the same hotel we were at in Montreal when you went out with those people from New York that you had just met earlier that day?
No, I was not thinking about David Suzuki. I was thinking about the 6-foot blonde. Okay. The warm-up is brought to you by Uniglobe Carefree Travel. I hope everybody's enjoying this Canadian hour of the RP show. I feel like Wayne and Schuster right now. I feel like the Royal Canadian Air Force, the preferred travel partner of the RP show and the BC Lions. When it comes to sports trips, group travel, or your next great getaway, trust the pros who handle every detail so you can enjoy the journey. Contact Neil Chark with Uniglobe Carefree Travel. Point two, I'm just going to ignore the World Cup. I had something here, but Tunisia fired their coach one game into this thing. Like, the World Cup is a grease fire, but it's so massive. Where do you start?
4 draws yesterday. If you put $10 on the 4 draws yesterday, you could have retired.
Wow. But who would have? I'm sure nobody did.
Apparently some guy in the U.S. that's on VEASAN. He apparently did, and he took home $62,000.
Oh, wow. So I'll push more of World Cup to hour 3, but that is the poll question today for Country Thunder. Are you following World Cup? It's a yes for me. It's clearly a yes for Mitch, no matter what he wants to see. You are. Yeah, you are. We are. And Moose and I are hosting a live stream on Thursday night on the streaming platform Gosh. It's presented by the Global Crypto Casino BC game for the...
I can't wait to hear your analysis of the Qatar team.
Guy... I'm trying not to think about it because I'll be riddled with anxiety. I'm like, I've learned sports I don't know before. I can figure this out for 2 hours. So anyway, that's Thursday night, 6 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Moose and I on the streaming platform Gosh. Okay, people came here. More breaking news. This from the Canadian Football League. Oh, I didn't have it up and ready to go, but I can go off the top of my head because I read the news release. But I told you, all hell's broken loose today. Tortorella's out in Vegas. CBC's no longer doing Hockey Night in Canada. We talked about the Kyle Calder passing. Tunisia fires his coach of the World Cup. And now the Grey Cup, $93 million plus generated at the Grey Cup last year in Winnipeg. So I had the great fortune of being at the one in Vancouver, the 111th. That's the biggest ever. I know that would be hard for you to believe, Mitch, because you were at the 2013 in Grey Cup in Sask. That felt like and it was the biggest at the time. Vancouver last year was bigger. This Winnipeg one didn't beat it, but it's still pretty good. $93 million plus. Bravo to CFL fans and the Blue Bombers.
$93 million. Who won the Grey Cup?
Saskatchewan.
In Winnipeg, right?
That is a fact.
Is it safe to say that Rider Nation, no matter if they live in the 306 or any other part in Canada, flocked to Winnipeg and made that happen?
I guess, but I mean, they weren't in the Vancouver Grey Cup, which is the biggest grossing of all time. So that kind of
no, but that would be the biggest city that would maybe care about the CFL, especially with Amar Doman calling the shots. And who's kidding who? If you're not taking that zip tide in Vancouver, were you even at Grey Cup?
I didn't, but I filmed a lot of people doing it. But yeah, I get what you're saying. Rider fans.
Talk about anxiety.
Made that Grey Cup. It is what it is. Wayne in BC writes in and says, I love the Canadian hour of the RP show. Maybe we should go on the CBC on Saturday nights. Vintage Sasko.
Says, that's what we need.
Writes in again and says, hey, Rod and Mitch, oh my God, can the RP show revive the Air Farce chicken cannon? Fans can vote on the target. It's the idea of the decade. So, anyways,
let's
do we
go to
even want to get into
Jam.
Yeah, well, I think Joe's working on that. I don't really know. I just sit here and talk and yak it up on the old yak box here. What's grabbing your attention right now, Mitch? Like, this is Bob Cole. Everything is happening. That's what it is on a Tuesday.
I'm still trying to sort of digest the Leafs trade. Like, what? I don't understand that. I just don't.
No. Listen.
I don't know.
The way the Leafs are going, and I guess what's the matter now? Like, it's why hold back? The way they're going with John Chayka, they're going to look back at this era right now as the good old days. Like the last 20 years is the good old days. Because it's going to be darker than an inside of a cow's ass. I'm going to tell you that.
Did analytics play a part in this? Does Samuel Urson have a better, I don't know, some formula than Joseph Wall when it comes to pucks being dumped in? Like, I don't know.
The viewers are into
it. Do the Oilers have a head coach yet? Is Bruce Cassidy there? Is Babcock there? Is Tortorella there?
The viewers are into it. Jeff the Stamps fan says, Scruffy needs to do my budgeting if he can make a $62,000 retirement plan work. Jason in Red Deer says, did Scruffy just say people in Vancouver care more about the CFL and Grey Cup than Winnipeg and Saskatchewan? What the hell? I don't think you said that.
On Grey Cup week, when you have people from across Canada going to the festival that is the Grey Cup.
Yeah. Okay. It's all good. Whatever. Scott, regarding CBC dropping Hockey Night in Canada. That's done. Like, not. Why are people surprised? You'd think there would be a nice montage, a nice 21-gun salute. Nope. Just a statement. We're done. Bye. Get the hell out. Only 70 years of hockey, or whatever the hell it is. 80 years of hockey broadcasting. Oh my, what a toilet of an industry we're in. Scott in Vancouver says just a guess, but in smaller rural towns, some people only had CBC to watch hockey, but most people have Sportsnet. Maybe, Scott, but I mean, again, listen, my hometown, they still rent DVDs in the damn gas station. My hometown, I walked into the Shoppers Drug Mart here in Moose Jaw. They were selling DVDs. There's a rack right in the front door, DVDs. So I'm like, God bless you, Saskatchewan. Do not ever change. But I don't think there's a lot of rural people that don't have cable or satellite. My God.
I would agree with that.
Again, 902-518-3033. The whole world has gone crazy today. The Leafs have traded Joseph Woll, their number one goalie, and defenseman Simone Benoit to the Philadelphia Flyers for goalie Samuel Ersson, defenseman Emile Andre, and a third-round pick in the 2026 NHL draft. I mean, I care less about that. I mean,
did Overdrive start early today?
Right. Nobody can figure it out. You have to understand, everybody that sits and stares at the ceiling at night and can't sleep with various things going on in the world, let it go. It doesn't make sense. It's not going to make sense. For me, my mind's on the Tortorella thing because I had heard through Vegas sources, and I think it had been reported as well, that he wasn't going to be back and that they were going to elevate Ryan Craig from the Henderson, their American Hockey League team. He's been Kelly's guy since he played for him, captained the Wheat Kings. Didn't we talk about this yesterday?
Very briefly. Maybe they'll bring Cassidy back.
Listen.
Can you imagine that?
You're pretty in tune. You're pretty in tune with the Edmonton scene.
Yep.
It's going to be Cassidy, right?
Well, I think it will be. They continue to drag out the Mike Babcock thing, and I've had a few people tell me that at some point it's going to get to the place where Mike Babcock might not want some of this investigation details to come out. And he may just say, you know what, guys, it was great, but I'm going to pull out of the running here and just save everybody the embarrassment, the time, et cetera, et cetera. So I think it's going to be Bruce Cassidy, but I wonder now, because the talk did come up about John Tortorella when it was discovered that maybe he might not go back to Vegas. So
that's the thing.
Is the call going to be made to John? I don't know.
Well, if you care, tell me if you want. I got Kelly McCrimmon's statement here. It was emailed to me. I'll buy the Golden Knights. I'll read it after the break if you want. It sounds like as amicable parting as you could have, like almost like I'm not sure Torts even wants to be back. You know Kelly's going to have a plan. He would have always had a plan for his coaching situation. But in Edmonton, I will tell you this, because I got my sources too. A very, very, very close associate of Mike Babcock said with his Edmonton thing, yeah, we all think that Babs would just humbly back out and go, yeah, no. The close source to Babcock said, if there is even a sniff that this is real, Babs is going to be all over it. Okay. Not backing out or bowing out. If there's a sniff of this, the Oilers are serious, Babs would be like a dog in a bone. So I'm not prepared to say that it's not going to happen, but I really think the Oilers just threw this out because they were tired of being dangled by Kelly McCrimmon, and it was just a clash of egos, and they're pissed that they had to wait. And Kelly was doing what was his. That's what I think that it was, and permission will be granted, and Cassidy will be their coach within a week. That's just my prediction with no inside knowledge. We'll continue this. More with Scruffy coming right up on the RP Show.
Ultimate Fan Zone, taking our show on the road coast to coast. Shop online, ultimatefanzone.ca. Slick, user-friendly. We built this site for the die-hard sports fans. Jerseys, hats, team apparel, offering officially licensed fan gear from the best lines in sports. Nike, New Era, Adidas, Fanatics. Game day ready to your door. Now, just a click away. ultimatefanzone.ca or check us out on Facebook and Instagram. UFZ Downtown Moose Jaw, home of everything authentic.
Across America, Country Thunder Music Festivals bring you the biggest superstars. See unforgettable performances by Zach Top, Lainey Wilson, Brooks and Dunn, Keith Urban, Riley Green, the Red Clay Strays, Kane Brown, Gavin Adcock, and so many more. Join the party under the desert sky in Arizona, on the sandy shores of the Gulf in Florida, or in gorgeous Wisconsin Lake Country. It's the music you love, live and loud. Tickets, hotel, and camping info available at countrythunder.com.
Dean, Brody, and the Recklaws teaming up for the Hometown Heroes Tour.
If there's work, you know I'm gonna work.
Live at Temple Garden Center, November 9th.
Can't blame nobody else. I can't help myself.
Two of Canada's biggest country acts. One stage, one unforgettable night on the Hometown Heroes Tour. Tickets on sale now at the Temple Garden Center box office or online at saskpix.ca.
Across America, Country Thunder Music Festivals bring you the biggest superstars. See unforgettable performances by Zach Top, Lainey Wilson, Brooks and Dunn, Keith Urban, Riley Green, the Red Clay Strays, Kane Brown, Gavin Adcock, and so many more. Join the party under the desert sky in Arizona, on the sandy shores of the Gulf in Florida, or in gorgeous Wisconsin Lake Country. It's the music you love, live and loud. Tickets, hotel, and camping info available at countrythunder.com.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
All right, when we talk hockey, it's brought to you by the Mad Greek Eatery here in Moose Jaw. Are you craving the famous Greek ribs everybody's raving about? We'll get yours today at the Mad Greek. Dine in, pick up, or order online at themadgreekeatery.com. It's our last segment already with Scruffy for the week. I'll recap all of the breaking news. The fit has hit the shan in all of sports today. Tortorella's out in Vegas. The Leafs traded Jason Wall to Philly for a backup goalie. CBC's dropped Hockey Night in Canada. But there's one thing, Mitch, that I'm dying to get to with you. We had, I thought, a really good analysis coming out of week 2 of the CFL, and you gave your thoughts on the BC defense. But I'm thinking about this. Week 3 opens with BC at Hamilton on Friday night, and we didn't really get into Nathan Rourke. And I want to, like, you talk to the similar people, not the same people as me, but similar people as me. And a lot of my people don't really care for Nathan Rourke. And really? I think that's a, yeah, like some really don't like him, to the point that I said to a guy last week, I said, oh, have you met him? No. I just think he's arrogant. Don't like the way he comes off. I'm like, okay, whatever. He's a quarterback. They're all like that, largely. What are the people in your circles like with Nathan Rourke?
Well, he doesn't play for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, so he's garbage. That's the first thing.
Right.
You know, don't see the genuine hate for Nathan Rourke that maybe you are. I think maybe what it is that, you know what, Nathan Rourke is the face of the CFL, and people hate seeing that. You know, there are people outside of Edmonton that don't like Connor McDavid because he's the face of the deal. There are people outside of LA that don't like LeBron James because he's the face of the NBA. Like, I think at some point people go, he's not like this guy that I cheer for. No, he's not throwing for 400 yards and 5 touchdowns every game. Why is he the face of the league? I think that's what a lot of it is. But to me, Nathan Rourke is the face of the CFL. Him and Davis Alexander.
He's the face of the CFL, but the question is, should he be? Because, listen, I'm as big a fan.
He's a Canadian quarterback. He should be.
Okay, fine. But he's being built up and marketed as the face of the CFL. And I'm just saying, when you got a game-winning drive on the line, you got to start winning some of these. Fair?
I don't disagree with that, but let's take a look, Tom Brady never really had a lot of game-winning drives when he only had 63 seconds to go and no timeouts. If Nathan Rourke had 2 minutes in the Western Final to work with, if he had 2 minutes on Saturday to work with, would BC have come back and won that football game? We'll never know the answer to those questions, but I think the chances would have been a lot higher. And BC, as we found out on that game on Saturday, due to some receivers being injured, like their 5th string receiver was in there, who was a guy that was a linebacker last year. So Nathan didn't really have the weapons that he wanted for that final drive, which was only 58 seconds or whatever.
Okay. Well, I think it was 52 seconds, whatever. I'm just throwing out a discussion point. Did you read the comments from the readers on your column on the weekend, by the way? At Rod Pedersen?
No, I generally don't do that unless you sort of bring me up to speed on 1 or 2 of them.
Somebody wrote in and said, scruffy rage-baiting Rider fans never gets old. I'm kind of doing the same thing here with the Nathan Rourke. All I'm just saying is, I'll go one step further. My one guy, I'm not going to say his name, he's probably watching right now. He won't want to be outed. Like he's like, I hate Nathan Rourke. And I'm like, you don't even know him, but that's just a fan. But there are others that are upset that he was upset about with Chad Kelly and his thoughts there. He was ripped the new rules to shreds. Right? So they just think that he's kind of more outspoken than he should be given his stature and status in the league.
So what's the difference between Nathan Rourke and Bo Levi Mitchell when he was in Calgary?
Bo's won. Period.
That's fair. But Bo was in the league for how long before he won?
He was a rookie when he won the 2014 Grey Cup. So, and I don't like the guy.
He wasn't a rookie, was he?
Yes, he was. Absolutely, he was. Whatever it was, that was his rookie season that he led Calgary to the Grey Cup in 2014. And I don't even like the guy. So here's me defending him. So
he's never spoken a little word about you.
Yes, he has, actually, and I can send you the articles. They're in print. While I have you, let me get your picks. BC at Hamilton Friday. Who you got?
It's way too early to start making picks, and I'll put them out on my Twitter account before the game on Friday. But right now,
bark. Morning, men. See you tonight.
I'd probably go with that game's in Hamilton.
Time.
In Hamilton?
You said you're not going to make your picks. So are you making them or are you not?
Right now, I'd probably lean towards the Ticats because it's a short week.
Bark. Okay.
Why are you talking about the former Blue Jays color guy?
Buck. How do you feel about the triple header on Saturday in the CFL? Have your sources told you why this is? Because I'm not really at.
If you're watching TSN, you're either going to get football or football.
Right. That's the two things that they're running.
Jerseys.
Haven't really paid. Yeah, I haven't really paid attention to that. They debuted them against Edmonton in the rain the night of, I think, Game 4 of the Stanley Cup Final. I was at Pump Jacks, and it was on the smaller screen, so I didn't really see them. But I don't really think it matters what Ottawa has done for their jerseys. I don't think they're going to be very good.
I think that Toronto will beat Ottawa. I think the Riders will go into Calgary and spank the Stampeders. And what's the other game?
Montreal, Edmonton.
Ooh,
at Edmonton.
Where is that?
In Edmonton.
Ooh.
In the rematch of the 2002 Grey Cup. And my best John Frenzy.
That's going to be a delicious little game to watch.
That's the clash of the unbeaten
against his old team that sort of
clash
said,
of the
you know
unbeaten.
what, we don't want you anymore because of Davis Alexander.
Let me guess, you're taking the
opinion
Elkamos.
of Cody Fajardo.
Are you taking the Elkamos?
I might.
Okay, and since I have you, I didn't write down BC or Hamilton for you. So, would you say short week for BC?
Hamilton just because it's a short week for BC and 2 back-to-back road games.
Okay. Listen, if you don't want to be held to these, I'll probably use Kevin the Medium's picks on the weekend because he'll be making them Thursday or Friday with us. But I thought I would throw that out.
That's fine. You can check mine out on my Twitter page.
Right, you are a CFL pundit. Mitchell Scruffy Blair. Okay, of all these things, any NFL grabbing you right now? I flipped it on to the NFL Network last night. First thing, they're talking Cowboys. I'm like, I'm already sick of them. Like, I moved off it.
No, not really. I haven't seen anything that sort of jumps out at me. Yeah, there's nothing there that really jumps out at me as being something that catches my attention. When's training camp start? August?
July. That's why I wonder if you're following
I know
any.
I got an email today about a fantasy guide that's now available that I may look into. I may not. We'll see.
Well, it's funny. We've all long thought that the NFL is a 12-month league. But then once I've started covering it and having a profile with the league PR thing, it's actually not a year-round league. Like, info's been at a trickle for quite some time, to the degree that when the Vrabel stuff was blowing up, I swear to God, Roger Goodell had to be going, can we invent some other scandal? Because there was nothing going on. How timed was that? Ill-timed.
Yeah, with the exception of the trade, the trade of A.J. Brown to the Patriots, like that's the last thing that sort of caught my attention.
And Myles Garrett, which was the same day.
But that was beforehand. But yeah, that was
the same day. That was the same day. And that was like a month ago.
No, it was the next day. All right.
Look it up. Okay, Scruffy. Well, this has been a lot of fun. Enjoy your whatever it is that you're doing. Your World Cup watching. Obviously, you're in on that. Right. Any last words?
Have a great day in Moose Jaw.
I always do. I'll be honest. Everybody's complaining about the drizzling and the rain, and I'm like, this is why I came here. We got Swift Current tonight on Flow College here in town. The Millers are hot. If you've noticed, Mitch, I'm sure you noticed. And we're going to be in your town later on in the week. So maybe we'll see you then. Thanks, Scruffy. Thanks for the time. We'll be right back, everybody, on the RP Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
All right, welcome back. It's the RP Show from the Golden Ticket Sports Center, and we can have even more fun, although it was a lot of fun with Scruffy. 902-518-3033 is the text line. This first hour, it's more Canadian than the nature of things. And I'll tell you, if you tuned in late, you're going to want to go back. I found David Suzuki. I never really got into the story of me flying up here from Fort Lauderdale to Denver through travel snafus, missed the connecting flight. I had to spend the night in Denver, which was fine, then spend the whole day in Denver, and Aurora, Colorado is where my hotel was. So I went to a Starbucks. I'm like, you know what? There's worse things than spending a day, all expenses paid, in Aurora, Colorado. So I was at a Starbucks, and I'm like, I'm sitting beside a guy that I thought it was David Suzuki. I almost went up and said to him, excuse me, sir, are you the host, former host of that famous CBC show, The Nature of Things, with David Suzuki? But I didn't. But yeah. Trent's watching in Norway. He writes in, says, Norway's here. Is the world going crazy? No Tortorella? No CBC for Hockey Night in Canada? Rider Nation helps the CFL make a Grey Cup profit? Soccer teams are getting better at the World Cup? Wow, relax. Utah Darren writes in and says, seems to be a Costanza day. Worlds are colliding. Right. Scott in Vancouver says, nice hoodie, Rod. Do you have swag for the show? Yes, we do. Go to rodpedersen.com, click on RP Store. There's all kinds of goodies there, as put together by Joe, our business manager, Joe, and his good friend Chumley here in Moose Jaw. W1986 writes in from the county, says, Elliot Friedman is reporting that he's hearing it's very likely Vegas will move on with Ryan Craig. Thank you for bringing that. I was going to save this for the Vegas hour in hour two, but here's the statement. I got it sent to me from the Golden Knights. General Manager Kelly McCrimmon announced today, June 16th, the following update. John Tortorella will not return to the team's coaching staff following the 2025-26 season. Quote, We thank Torts for the guidance he provided our team since joining the organization in March, said McCrimmon. When the decision was made to bring Torts to Vegas, we needed an immediate impact to help us at a pivotal point of the season. Torts' experience and leadership proved to be the boost that we were looking for, helping guide us to the Stanley Cup Final. We are grateful for Torts' passion, sincerity, and commitment to our organization, and we wish him and his family the best. So I don't know, are we going to have to go through this every year to the end of time? I had a panelist on here a while back that said Vegas doesn't make mistakes. Hiring Bruce Cassidy was the right move. Firing Bruce Cassidy was the right move. Bringing in John Tortorella was the right move. Saying goodbye to John Tortorella, the right move. And I get the sense that Torts is okay with it. I get this sense. I mean, Kelly is silver-tongued and he's more diplomatic than anybody I've ever seen in my life. But I just got the sense that Tortorella might be okay with this too. And as far as the Ryan Craig goes situation, he's been coaching Henderson. He had been an assistant coach with the Golden Knights. If Kelly McCrimmon feels that Ryan Craig is the best guy to lead this team, then that won't be a mistake. You're asking what my thoughts are? Nobody knows more than Kelly McCrimmon is my point. And to be honest, I really wanted them to win the Stanley Cup just to prove to everybody that he is the best hockey man on the globe. He's certainly top 3. Right now, I'm thinking it might be Bill Zito. Who's the best hockey man? Nobody even knows the GM of Carolina's name. So that's my thoughts. They don't make mistakes. And I still think Bruce Cassidy will be coaching the Oilers. That's the thing that I get out of bed every morning and just wait now for that announcement. Brent in the Bridge City writes, and he says, CBC has almost nothing to watch anymore. A bad joke. Why are they talking about that? Because the CBC and Sportsnet announced this morning jointly that Hockey Night in Canada will no longer air on CBC. And I know nobody thinks about this like I do, but as my Canadian counselor, Rand, says, that's why you have a show. Because I often say to him, Rand, I don't like not being like everybody else. It's lonely. It sucks. And he said, I don't think like anybody else. And he goes, that's why you have a show. Keep being you. Okay. My point is, however many years Hockey Night in Canada was on CBC, Corey, you worked there. How far back does that go? Roughly. The 30s? The 40s? Oh, you didn't work for CBC. Okay. How long does Hockey Night in Canada, how long has it aired on CBC? Like, that's where it started. It's 52? Okay, well, there you go. I mean, we could find it. Right, I'm sure we can. Huge part of building the National Hockey League brand, CBC. All those men and women that worked for, let's say, 3/4 of a century-ish, deserve more than a joint statement to say we're no longer carrying it anymore. That's all. That's I said 1930s. That's what I thought. 1931. Thank you. People think I'm just a pretty face. So anyways, they deserve better. So that's it. That's what. But again, that's our business now. Nothing as it comes to this business surprises me. 902-518-3033. Okie dokie. Scruffy might have been right. Wayne in BC says, Bo Levi came to the CFL in 2012. I thought he came in as a rookie. And I'm not necessarily taking your word, by the way, Wayne. My apologies-ish. But let's go to the big board on this one. Because we're talking about Nathan Rourke and how long is it taking him to win. And it's Nathan Rourke versus Bo to open week 4 in the CFL this Friday night. Yeah, 2012. Okay, you're right, Wayne. You beat me to Google. Anyways, Bill writes in from the Queen City, says, good morning, crew. Nice rainy day here. Yeah, I'm not complaining about it. Actually, really nobody's complaining about it. As long as the rain stops by baseball time tonight. Now would be a good time to throw this out, actually. Here are your Western Canadian Baseball League games tonight. Swift Current here at Moose Jaw. You can follow my broadcast on Flow College Baseball. Saskatoon Berries at Regina, Medicine Hat at Weyburn, Fort McMurray at Sylvan, Okotoks at Lethbridge. The rain will get off, go away. We'll have a great night for baseball. Go out and support the league, everybody. The WCBL, please and thank you. I have a few notes written down. I could tell these next hour as well because it's an NHL story. Our good friend Kyle Calder passing away at age 47 yesterday. I told some stories off the top of the show. Just a funny guy. And Scruffy said it really well, too. I mean, we work really good together, me and Scruffy. He goes, you don't see Calder's name on the wall. You don't see his number on the wall there. You don't see him in any of the record books. Yet all the Pats fans are in mourning today that he passed away at the age of 47. And I'm leaving it up to the family. It's a different era now. I mean, everybody's blowing up my phone. How did he die? All I say is he didn't take his life, but it's up to the family for whatever details they want to divulge with this. It's just a sad story. Really funny guy, and I was just with him in Chicago last year. It's just a sad story. On the flip side, here's another thing, and I know Albertans know this, but the rivalry between the Oilers and the Flames, every region and team should be lucky enough to be embroiled in a battle like those two teams. And the reason I say that is the Oilers, some podcast, Bleed Blue podcast up there, or Blue and Orange, something like, there's a million of them, got a hold of the clip of Tim Horton. Whoa. Have another Tim Hortons, Rod. Tim Hunter's clip last week where he ripped the Oilers. He goes, I don't like the way that they do business. And slammed them and slammed everybody. Tim Hunter, they posted that. The comments on that, it means a lot coming from Semenko's punching bag, which he wasn't, but whatever. I'm just saying, we're trying to build that sort of thing in Florida. Like, I spent enough time in Calgary, and I love that city, as you all know so much. I know enough that every single morning, people wake up finding new ways to hate Edmonton and the Oilers, and the same thing goes on in northern Alberta. It's amazing. And it's filling both barns. So while we're in a kindler, softer era, nobody can fight, and we can't have any controversy. They don't care in the Battle of Alberta, and I love that. Kirk in Toronto writes in on this news. He says, hi, Rod, are you surprised? The CFL was on CBC for over 50 years, then poof. Yes, but they made a big deal out of that. 2007 Grey Cup, our win at Skydome in Toronto was the last ever game. David Benefield, Elliot Friedman. Do you all remember all that? Chris Walby, they made a really big deal out of that being the last game. Here it's just gone 3 or 4 days after, 2 days after the last game. Yeah, no more Hockey Night in Canada. Like, it's a disgrace. David number 2 writing in from Winnipeg. CBC dropping Hockey Night in Canada so they can fund a reboot of the Beachcombers. LOL. Like, I'll be honest, I'm wandering around here in Moose Jaw. Everything's lush and green and it's rainy. And I'm like, oh, those great nights at the cabin watching CBC. I don't think that's a thing anymore. It's just not a thing anymore. People got Wi-Fi in the cabins. They got internet. They're streaming. It's just not a thing anymore. So, Mitch seemed far more rocked than I was that Hockey Night in Canada has been dropped by CBC. I mean, it sucks, but if you didn't see this coming, you're flipping blind, man. Like, somebody please, yeah. Little voice in my head just said, stop. Thank you. Wayne in BC, I'll give you this one. He goes, actually, Rod, I didn't need to Google this time because, as you might know, I'm not a fan of the Calgary Stampeders. So somehow he knew that Bo's first year was 2012, and I had it wrong. Sorry, Scruffy. Jason Red says, I also miss Stu Jeffries on Good Rockin' Tonight. Arlen Bruce writes in, he says, the best CFL games were aired on CBC, in my opinion. My family could watch the games in America. The panel now works for the NHL. Yeah, guys, we all got to quit living in the past. You all got to please move on. Hour 2 coming up right after this.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
You have a vision, a big idea. But how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote your rebel, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
You have a vision, a big idea. But how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote your rebel, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
How about that?
Well, how about that? As we say, all hell is broken loose on this Tuesday, so buckle up, giddy up. We welcome viewers across Nevada on Silver State Sports. Oh, I'm talking to you, Las Vegans, Nevadans, and everybody else, by the way. We got a really big show. Our good friend Zig Fracassi will be with us from SiriusXM NFL Radio. He is a Las Vegas radio alum. So Ziggy's going to join us to talk some NFL, but also some NHL with the just completed hockey season. And as we get rolling on the Quick Six Show topics here in the warm-up, brought to you by our good friends at Uniglobe Carefree Travel, the official travel partner of the BC Lions and the RP Show. I should mention this before we get to the breaking news. Neil Chark from Uniglobe Carefree Travel says, Rob, we got to get this cruise sold out. So you people can join CFL legend Adam Bighill and Saskatchewan Roughriders linebacker Jameer Thurman and score a touchdown in the Caribbean on a 7-day cruise departing from Fort Lauderdale on February 20th, 2027. A once-in-a-lifetime experience for Canadian Football League fans. Zig, I think that's something you might be interested in. Contact Neil Chark at Uniglobe Travel. Neil at uniglobecarefree.ca. Prices from $18.99. Cruise only. Okay, the breaking news of which we were speaking of comes out of Vegas. And was it a secret? It doesn't matter. Here's the statement from the Vegas Golden Knights, the 2026 Western Conference champions of the National Hockey League. Vegas Golden Knights general manager Kelly McCrimmon announced today, June 16th, the following update. John Tortorella will not return to the team's coaching staff following the 2025-26 season. Here's the quote from Kelly McCrimmon. We thank Torts for the guidance he provided our team since joining the organization in March. When the decision was made to bring Torts to Vegas, we needed an immediate impact to help us at a pivotal point in the season. Torts' experience and leadership proved to be the boost that we were looking for, helping guide us to the Stanley Cup Final. We are grateful for Torts' passion, sincerity, and commitment to our organization, and we wish him and his family the best. Now, as you all know, this is the second hour of the show. We stream across Canada on the Game Plus network in hour 1, plus hour 2. So there are a lot of viewers were writing in with my thoughts on this because the insiders are saying, the insiders that are outside the organization, but also the people inside the organization in Vegas feel that the next coach for the Golden Knights will be Ryan Craig, the head coach of the American Hockey League team there with the Henderson Silver Knights. As you know, we're close with that team too. We had their assistant coach, Jamie Heward, on a couple of months ago. So there's a plan here, and so people are asking my thoughts. I'm like, it doesn't matter what my thoughts are. It was Mike Richards, the famed Mike Richards, I remember it now, who said on this show a few months ago, he said the Golden Knights don't make mistakes. Hiring Bruce Cassidy wasn't a mistake. They won a Stanley Cup. Firing Bruce Cassidy wasn't a mistake. Hiring John Tortorella wasn't a mistake. I've seen the Rudy Poos on Twitter say that, oh, they didn't win a cup, so this gamble didn't work. You're just an idiot. No, as Cal Krim just said, they got us to the Stanley Cup Final within 2 wins of winning the whole thing. It was a move that paid off. And I get the sense that Torts probably was down with this too. I'm not joking, okay? He's 67 years of age. These are very stressful jobs. He came in to do a job. He did his job, and he can actually leave with his head high, I believe. Zig Fracassi is watching this from NFL Radio right now. I want to get your take, Zig, when you join us coming up in the next segment, brought to you by Prairie Panels. And again, if Ryan Craig is the next coach of the Golden Knights, whom we all feel that he will be, I have faith in the Golden Knights because I started saying it in January when the Golden Knights were hitting the tank. I said, I got faith they'll figure this out. And they did. I got faith this will work out too. And I don't know Ryan Craig personally, but I've known him since I was broadcasting his games in Brandon, and Kelly was his general manager. So they're in fine hands. That's the news of the day. Torts is out, and a lot of the insiders said it was coming. Now, every morning I get out of bed expecting to hear that Bruce Cassidy's been hired by the Edmonton Oilers. That is the one hot take that I'm riding with, and I hope that I don't get my teeth kicked down my throat on that. But we'll see. It's a hunch / a little inside info. Okay. Oh, I shouldn't be blowing a horn. This is the part that's very sad, which was our hour 1, what we opened with before the Tortorella news. We don't have the fancy graphics. This is our dear friend Kyle Grease Calder, passing away at the age of 47 on Tuesday. And I was telling some stories about him. For 4 years, we had him with my junior hockey team, the Regina Pats, the world's oldest junior hockey team. And that was a very special era of Pats hockey. He went on to, I believe, be drafted 3rd round by the Chicago Blackhawks. We had him from 95 to 99 with the Pats. Then he went to the NHL for 10 seasons. I wrote it down here. Where did I put it? The guy deserves this to have it read. 10-year NHL career, 590 games, 294 points with Chicago, Philadelphia, Detroit, LA, and Anaheim. I was just with him in Chicago at the United Center, and it's a sad story. He's one of the funniest guys ever. He did not take his life. That you won't hear a report like that, like you did with Claude Lemieux. It's obviously a sad story, but I'm not at liberty to say. Know his family really well, and I used to say, where are you from, Kyle? Manning, man. Manning, Alberta. His little tricks. I said last hour, he used to, after the whistle, he would just go pick up the puck off the ice and take it to the bench with him and just set it on the dasher and wait for the linesman to realize the puck's gone. It was funny. And once I knew that he was doing it, you would see I'd be watching from the press box. The linesman would be looking around. Do you have the puck? No. Do you have no, I don't have. Where's the puck? And after this had gone on long enough, Kyle would just toss it to him. Here you go, you dummies. Oh, and here's one before I move on to everything else. I want to say is about 98. Comes up to me and he's like, your dad works for Dallas, right? I'm like, yeah. Do you think you could get me an autographed Andy Moog jersey? My best friend's graduating from high school. I'd like to get him the Andy Moog jersey signed. So I got it. I got it shipped to us at the Agrodome. I said, here you go, Grease. Here's the jersey. It's going to be $350 US, shipping included. He goes like, what? I'm a junior hockey player. I don't have $350 US. I thought you were donating it. You little prick. But I knew the kid was going to the NHL, and that I knew that was just putting a few dollars in the karma bank. So once he went to the big show, he used to come on my shows all the time when I was doing radio talk there. And one time he was with the Chicago Blackhawks, and I said, hey, Grace, how's it feel to be playing on the top line of the Chicago Blackhawks with Alexei Zhamnov? And he says, why don't you ask Zhamnov how he feels about playing with me? He's that kind of guy. So he left a huge impact in the hockey world. A lot of people mourning. Those are some of my Kyle Calder stories, and I love the guy. I'm so glad to have seen him at the United Center in the Blackhawks alumni suite last year. 902-518-3033. For the Canadian viewers that are watching right now in Nevada, here's the news. Tortorella out. The Kyle Calder thing, a huge trade with the Toronto Maple Leafs today that has everybody shaking their heads. The Toronto Maple Leafs have traded goaltender Joseph Wall and defenseman Simone Benoit to the Philadelphia Flyers for goalie Samuel Ersson, defenseman Emile Andre, and a third-round pick in the 2026 NHL Draft. Yes, you heard it right. They're trading a starting goalie for a backup goalie, and the guy that I saw with my own eyes, Simone Benoit, heart and soul of their blue line. When I saw them play in Sunrise late in the season, he was the only guy that was actually trying. He was the only guy trying, Simone Benoit, and they traded him away. Now, I'm not the GM. I'm not on the inside, but that's just what I see. And that's the news there. And then this is, I'm just going to skim over it. Otherwise, I'll get too pissed off. But in a joint statement this morning, the CBC, the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, Canada's version of PBS, announcing jointly with Sportsnet that they will no longer air Hockey Night in Canada. Sunday's Game 6 is the last they'll ever air, a tradition that goes back to 1931, almost 100 years, just in a little throwaway news, and we're done. Bye. A lot of the viewers are writing, and they just can't believe this. And I'm like, well, nothing should surprise you in today's world, especially today's broadcasting world. So I saw it coming. I just think that Hockey Night in Canada and all the men and women that served since 1931 deserve a little better than a throwaway news, a tweet that they're done. But again, that's the way it is. Yeah, people are all writing in. Sad day for Hockey Night in Canada. I mean, hey, Hockey Night in Canada, by the way, will be fine. This is a sad day for CBC. They're not carrying it anymore. Hockey Night in Canada will continue to air on Sportsnet. As our good friend Chris Jones likes to say, don't get it twisted. As BW writes in from Edmonton, is there free TV anywhere nowadays? I think that's the point in the whole thing. You nailed it, BW. CBC was free. I haven't seen anybody fixing the rabbit ears on the top of their TV in a very long time. Okay, Zig Fracassi coming in next from SiriusXM NFL Radio. Point 2 is World Cup. I'll ask you, are you following the World Cup? And I should mention this. I would be following it no matter what, but Thursday night, Moose and I will be hosting what they're calling a watch-along. The rest of the world calls it a live stream, but Moose and I have been hired by the global crypto company, Crypto Casino, BC Game, to host a watch-along for the Canada-Qatar game on a streaming platform called Gosh. So we're going to be doing a live stream, and you're going to tune in right with us and watch Canada and Qatar. I have some brushing up to do between now and Thursday, but I know this. Tunisia has fired coach Sabri Lamouchi after being thrashed 5-1 by Sweden in its first match at the World Cup and appointed French coach Hervé Renard. The Tunisian Soccer Federation posted on its social media Tuesday morning. The 54-year-old Lamouchi had only been in charge of the national team since January. I guess it's like, it's not really the playoffs, but it's like, could you imagine firing your coach in the playoffs? That's kind of what they did. Could you imagine firing your coach 2 games into the round robin. 1 game into the round. They played 1 game and they fired off of your head. I mean, I don't know a whole lot about soccer. But what I do know is it's no joke. So you lose the first, fired. I admire that. We'll see how it turns out. The team's remaining group games are against Japan on Saturday and the Netherlands on June 25th. So, again, no joke. It's 1:11 Eastern for those that celebrate. Visualize a positive outcome. And then live there and let the world catch up. I've been doing it for a while. It actually works. Our picks are for Pump Jack's Steakhouse and Saloon, Pump Jack's Cathedral, and Pump Jack's Weyburn. Come early, stay late at the place where friends meet. We were there the other night, our hockey watching headquarters. We got to find something else to go watch at Pump Jack's. We have such a good time there. Point 3, Texas Tech quarterback Brendan Sorsby plans to apply for the NFL supplemental draft. A stunning reversal in the saga over his eligibility after he admitted to betting on college sports. Sorsby's decision to leave Tech and pursue the NFL marks an about-face, as he had been granted a temporary injunction by a Texas judge that appeared to clear a path for him to play for the Red Raiders this year. So you're all following this story, right? We'll get into it more with Zig Fracassi next. This isn't, I mean, if you don't know, the Americans know this, the Canadians may not. Sorsby had been ruled ineligible by the NCAA after it discovered he had placed more than 9,000 bets, totaling at least $90,000 on pro and college sports over 4 years while enrolled at Indiana, Cincinnati, and Texas Tech. And since, a flurry of legal activity over the past week further muddled his path to eligibility. So he just said, screw it, I'm declaring for the draft. But I feel like, and I think Zig will agree, that ain't where the story ends. Because if it's on a smaller scale, Arlen Bruce probably watching right now. Oh, who's watching this situation closer than the Bruce family? Arlen Bruce's kid, Arlen Bruce IV, bets on games at Iowa, kicked out of the NCAA forever, and then has been kicked out of the Canadian Football League before he even set foot in it. For the same reason the NCAA banned Brendan Sorsby. There's no 3 strikes, there's no 2 strikes, it's a 1-strike rule. And Zig, I'm just interested to know what Zig has to say about this. You don't need to know all the details, but it's the parallel here. Kelly McCrimmon said it to me once. We're not doing anything different in the NHL than we were doing in the WHL. It's just to scale. It's the same thing here with these leagues, really. If the NFL, so he's declaring for the NFL draft. Has the NFL declared him eligible? Is the point that I'm getting. Could you see Roger Goodell going, oh, hang on. No, the NCAA doesn't want you, but we'll take you. Brendan Sorsby ain't Tom Brady. He's not even Arch Manning. Like, I'm sure he's getting some advice here, but I would suggest not all of the advice he's gotten's been good. So Zig knows this. Everybody knows this. I don't make hide it. I'm a second chance guy, third, fourth, fifth chance guy. I wouldn't be sitting here right now if I didn't get second and third chances. So I don't like this road that we're on in sports where there's no second chance whatsoever. When it comes to gambling, the fans are sniffing it out too. Oh, you can beat your wife. You can buy drugs. You can do this. You can be on steroids and at least come back, but you can't bet? Really? I understand the concept of it threatens to undermine the integrity of the game. I totally get all of that. I'm not arguing that. Especially in America where everybody thinks everything's rigged to begin with, which it's not. That's my whole thing. If you're not doing anything wrong, you should be able to withstand the arrows. And at the very least, give somebody a second chance. And that's why there are no second chances. But there's a lot of other things that threaten the integrity of the sport at various leagues that they just conveniently look the other way. And there's also on-field topics to get to. Mini camps are on the go in the NFL. We'll cover it all with Zig when we come back. Game Plus streaming and here on Silver State Sports.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea. But how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference.
We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live. Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
We're back on Silver State Sports and Game Plus streaming. Our guest segments for Prairie Panels. Are you building a shop, barn, rink, or commercial space? Prairie Panels provides high-quality insulated wall and roof panels designed for durability and energy efficiency. Visit prairiepanels.ca. Look at that bright smile from our good friend Zig Fracassi, SiriusXM NFL Radio. How you doing, Ziggy?
It's been a minute, hasn't it, Rod? I'm well. How are you?
Far too long. Listen, for our Vegas viewers right now on Silver State Sports, tell them your Las Vegas broadcast history, please, Zig.
Oh, geez. Do we have 5 minutes? No. Anyway, got out there. In fact, yesterday was the 41st anniversary that I actually left Niagara Falls to move to Las Vegas. And, you know, it didn't get started right away, but then after attending UNLV, getting to know some people, I ultimately got into my first job was a country music DJ of all things, and I got paid lousy money, but I worked every day and I enjoyed every minute of it. It was then that I actually got to do, our station was starting to pick up sports events. So we were the first station to pick up Boston Celtics games west of the Mississippi. So that was a pretty big deal. So I got to do scoreboard shows there. And then fast forward, Rod, to New Year's Eve night, 1992, my late dear friend Larry Ness was asking me if I wanted to fill in for him that night from the Bally's Sportsbook, his nationally syndicated call-in show. Got a great response from that. Ultimately worked for that outlet, the Sports Entertainment Network, became one-on-one, worked there for about 2.5 years, and then ultimately got over to Sports Fan Radio. Had to use an alias name, so I wound up taking my brother's name of Frank Andrews. So I was there for 6.5 years. So a pretty good run there in Vegas before I left in 2001 to go back to Western New York, where I worked for the Sabres station.
Well, and here's the thing. You talk NFL all day, every day, so I know you like telling a few stories outside of that. So let me just say this. What was your take on the entire Stanley Cup playoffs? You're a Bruins fan. We won't hold that against you. I'm assuming you were cheering for the Golden Knights, or how did you feel how it all played out? You weren't?
No, gosh, no. I love Rod Brindamore, and I wanted to see them get the job done. Excuse me. And then I think, and there was the tie-in, Rod, with Brandon Bussey. Here's a guy who I thought should have got an opportunity with the Bruins, played 2 great years in Providence. Here he comes in to basically save the day. They were clearly the better team the last 2 or 3 games, I thought. So congrats to them. The thing about Vegas is I was one of the few back in the day that said hockey would ever make it in Vegas. And I had people laugh at me, tell me, Zig, the only thing about ice they know out here is they put it in drinks. I says, I'm telling you, with all the transients out here, with the tourist aspect, hockey's going to wind up making it. And they did have a pretty good team with the Las Vegas Thunder in the International League. And, of course, the great mayor, Oscar Goodman, put that call in with Gary Bettman. Fast forward about 17 years later, with the changing landscape, Rod, now with gambling being so prevalent and legal, hence Vegas got a team. I thought they were grooved a really good expansion team. And yes, their aggressive management made them extremely competitive right away. So maybe it's just one of those things where I left, and now all these people doing radio and TV are benefiting from the explosion of Vegas sports, because now they're going to get the A's. You know, they're getting an NBA team, and of course the Raiders are already there.
Yeah. Oh, my God. I can't imagine what it was like doing sports talk in that town before all of this. But anyways, we've covered it all. And Zig Fracassi here from SiriusXM NFL Radio. So we've reintroduced you to the Vegas viewers. I'm sure there's a lot of people remember you out here from those times. Zig, well, let's start with the Raiders, I guess, because they never get tired of talking about. To me, aside from my Cowboys, I think you're off the Cowboy train. They're always the it team. But the Raiders are kind of the it team. What do you think?
Well, it looks as though for the first time in a number of years, there seems to be a purpose and plan. Obviously, Clint Kubiak is a very highly regarded head coach who ascended through the coaching ranks and, of course, was the offensive coordinator for the Seahawks last year and winning the Super Bowl. Fernando Mendoza is one of those guys that not only you would want to be your quarterback, but you would probably want your daughter to marry, because he's such an upstanding young man, and his story, as you know, is a really good one. Does he start opening day, Rod? I'm not sure. If it's me, I kind of have Cousins do it for the interim, and then maybe have Mendoza at some point dip the toe, kind of like years ago with Alex Smith in Kansas City, and then they had some guy on the bench turned out okay named Mahomes. So we'll see how that turns out. Love their free agency. I love what they did with the draft. Going to be interesting, though, Rod, with the Raiders. Do they ultimately keep Max Crosby, or do they start taking offers for him once he's a little more healed? Because as we know, that trade was basically rescinded there to Baltimore for 2 first-round picks.
Yeah, that was a weird one. That was the case of everybody getting ahead of themselves, right?
I think they got cold feet is what it was. Baltimore.
The Ravens? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. And he's not even healthy to start the year. What are the stories in minicamps right now that you've identified? What are your callers asking you about the most?
Quite a few things, actually. It'd be interesting, obviously, now with A.J. Brown, how he assimilates in New England. Of course, that was a drama that extended way too many months, but it was clear, Rod, that there had to be a change there in Philadelphia. You wonder if there was a disconnect between Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown. They totally revamped their receiver room. So how does A.J. Brown now fit in New England? How does that receiver room look for Jalen Hurts in Philadelphia? Can they find their form that they got to the Super Bowl a couple years ago? I just mentioned Mahomes. Of course, you got now the rework contract, $500 million, your kind of money. So it's one of the, minus a few billion, but it's one of those things that he's still like kind of running around. But if it was today, Rod, June 16th, whatever today is, he would not be ready to start the season. So he's still coming back from the ACL. They revamped their secondary. Do they still have that big run in them? Other storylines, obviously, Buffalo, my neck of the woods, Joe Brady. How does he assimilate now being the head coach? Former safety Jim Leonard comes in now to rework the defense. They've totally did that side, changed that side of the ball. So those are just a few of the things, obviously, that we're keeping our eye on as when training camp rolls around.
I'm still going back to your jokes there. Have you been sashaying down the hall to the Comedy Channel, Zig? You said,
"Hey,
RP, man."
Yeah. There you go. That's where I get all my material, and Howard still wants to see us. So,
oh yeah. Well, that was a great day when Zig gave me the tour of the SiriusXM, but we couldn't go near Howard's studio because there was a big old padlock on it, which we won't go down.
And I don't think he was there anyway. So.
No, it was Christmas. He was doesn't work at Christmas, unlike you, Zig, because you're pounding the anvil all the time. But hey, an old teammate of mine is now a teammate of yours on SiriusXM NFL Radio. Henry Burris made his debut. Hey,
I know.
This week, the smiling one.
Yeah, I heard a little bit of the show. He was working with former Chiefs head coach and longtime NFL assistant Todd Haley. I'm like, Henry Burris. I'm like, dude, the three Stanley Cups, the three Grey Cup, Henry Burris, of course, also spent a little time with the Bears and the Packers. So hopefully, things turned out with him. From what I heard of that show, he sounds like he could bring a lot of insight to the table.
Oh, he'll be fine. The only bad thing here is that it's radio, because his nickname is Smiling Hank. He's got the million-watt smile. He should be on television, and maybe one day he will be, but anyways, yeah, so say hey to Hank for me next time you're talking to him. I got to say this. Well, here's a question. What's the toughest division in the National Football League? We don't really know the answer right now, but off the top of your head, what's the toughest division right now entering 2026?
Oh, very good question. Right off the top of my head, I would probably go AFC West because you've got the Broncos, Rod, who were within a game of the Super Bowl, and you wondered, Bo Nix not gotten hurt against the Bills in the playoff game. Maybe they represent the AFC instead of New England. Kansas City, I'm not sure they're quite on their last legs, but if Mahomes comes back, I think they're going to be a force once again. The Chargers are a playoff team. Their quarterback exhibits elite traits, but I don't trust Justin Herbert in a big game. And it seems like even though Jim Harbaugh is a good coach, a lot of the things that plagued the prior coaches, whether it was Anthony Lynn or the defensive coordinator's name's escaping me right now, the previous coach, some of those same things are happening there with the Chargers, but I think they are a playoff caliber team. And as we just talked about with the Raiders, I think they will be markedly better. I'd probably say too, Rod, the NFC North, because the Bears are the favorite coming into the season. A lot of people I'm talking to think that Detroit will bounce back from a subpar year last year. Of course, Green Bay is always a formidable franchise. And then Minnesota, they came back. They win 5 straight games last year to close the year, 9-8. O'Connell's a good coach. If they get anything, and I think Kyler Murray's going to wind up being the starting quarterback there, if they get anything, I think Minnesota gets back into the playoffs. So those two divisions immediately to me come to mind as far as being tough.
Great answer. And, you mentioned the Broncos. Just back that up for a sec.
Sure.
What is it about Sean Payton? He just signed the extension there. I know he was on the media tour post New Orleans, so I don't know if you had any time around him. But what is it about that guy? And I'm kind of wondering if John Harbaugh can do the same thing with the Giants, because that was almost like flipping a switch, especially after they got rid of Russell Wilson. And they were better with Russell Wilson, but really good with Bo Nix.
Well, and think of the big cap hit they took, Rod. Everybody's saying, the Broncos are going to fall off the face of the earth after, I forgot what the amount was over. I think it was over $80 million that they had to eat. And It turned out okay. I mean, they maybe had to hiccup a year or two, but hey, you know what? They knew that. Sean Payton's just one of these guys who comes across maybe a little arrogant, but he's confident. And when you have a Super Bowl win, I think that gives you some cachet. I think he realizes he's got a young, very good young quarterback in Nix. I love the trade they made to get Jalen Waddle to give them a home run threat receiver-wise. Their defense, I think, next to the Texans, might be the best in the NFL. And I think players truly love playing for him. So I think that's the reason they redid his contract. So now he and the GM, George Payton, not related in different spellings, they're each together through 2030 in Denver. Although the storyline there, Rod, is Jonathan Cooper, who unfortunately got into some domestic issues, let's call it, with his girlfriend, was arrested, I think it was 8-9 days ago. Then he got arrested again for violating the probation order, what have you. So that could be something that could be really problematic on that defense if he has to miss time. Never mind the fact the social impact and what, is out there in the media now about his relationship with his girlfriend. So never want to minimize that, but from a purely football standpoint, it'd be interesting to see how the Broncos are going to navigate that if he were to miss time.
Of course, well said. Well, I know you're in tune with what's going on in all 32 markets, but let me tell you what's going on in Miami. I'm in Canada for the summer. I always come back June, July, August. Too hot there, Zig, in Florida in the summer. But I did hear before I left, and it hasn't changed, the Dolphins have done a remarkable sell job on their fan base that they're going to be decent, or are actually good, with Malik Willis and Jeff Hafley. It's a full-on rebuild. You just said Waddle's gone. Tyreek Hill hasn't signed with anybody, right? Like, he's not there. But there's optimism there, and I don't know how long that'll last. They got the Raiders in week 1, which should be delicious. It could be a train wreck. But what are your thoughts on what Miami should be expecting in 2026?
Brad, to be perfectly honest, I wouldn't expect a whole lot of anything. But I will say this. If you looked a few years ago at the Houston Texans, they were basically signing one-year deals with any free agents they could for like $3 million. So essentially, I think this is what Miami's trying to do. They're going to rebuild through the draft. Malik Willis, when he did play last year for Green Bay, there were signs that he was, showing to be at least a competent starting quarterback. And of course, you got the GM and the coach down there now in Miami. Both came from Green Bay, so they know this player well. I think they're actually a little bit better on the defensive side of the ball. Achane may be the most underrated back in the National Football League. I think Miami will be the gauge I always use is if you see a team that's at least trying to compete, they maybe win 4 or 5 games. Most of their losses are within a touchdown or less, playing hard. That's where I could see Miami being right now.
Yeah, me too. Wayne is watching in Victoria. He writes in on the Western Dodge text line. He says, I love me some Zig Fracassi. He's especially funny today. There you go, Zig. Did you have an extra shot of coffee?
It must be the iced tea kicking in. So
there you go.
I'm waking up now. So, yeah.
Right. We could sit here. We could talk NFL all day, but that's what you do. Tell me about SiriusXM NFL radio. Tell me about SiriusXM radio. We had that too. I narrowed it down. It was 2017, I think, that you and I got together. I visited you. It was such a great day.
It was around Christmas, me that tour. I think, right? Yeah.
It was. Are you a day one guy there?
Well, let's see. I got there because I mentioned earlier that I had moved back to Western New York, and I had worked for station WNSA, which was 107.7 and the Sabres flagship, and the games would also air on the Empire Sports Network. So that was a regional TV network, and then because obviously the things going on with the Adelphia cable, that fiasco, we wound up shutting down. So this was around 2004, and an old buddy of mine who I worked with in Vegas named Nick Pavlatos, who's now the director of NFL Radio, I knew he was there, and I had said, Nick, can you get me on here on this channel? Because I had just heard about Sirius NFL Radio. I'm like, this is interesting. 24/7 channel on NFL. Long story short, I started doing updates and some other things. So that would have been 2004, Rod. Put it this way. I always say, like, I was all in the family. I was the mid-season replacement, and we've gone from there 22 years strong.
Well, the reason I ask, I know that I've been listening to you on there for a very long time. It's Scott Laughlin, who I think you know, NHL Radio.
Oh, good friend. Good
yeah,
dude.
Is a day one guy as well. So it must be a great place to work because you guys have been there for a long time. The one thing that struck me when you showed me around that place, I'm like, it's a radio station. Just like every other one I've ever been in, right? There's nothing overly fancy about it.
No, but there you've got the Fishbowl there. They always have some concerts and, forums, if you want to call it that, for listeners and all that kind of thing. And then multitude of studios. Not only do we have set up, Rod, in New York, but also right down in Washington. Got big studios there. Studios in Nashville. Right. In fact, I think they're still in Bridgestone Arena. So you're right there where the Predators play. And I know they've got a setup in Los Angeles as well. So they're pretty spread out.
Yeah, it's an awesome thing you're doing. And Gord Stellick was on with me from NHL Radio a while back.
Sure.
And I said I should have bought the Lifetime when I got my subscription 20 years ago, but I didn't have the money. I didn't have the $500. You guys are way, way, way into me. But you know what? Very worth it. Very worth it. I love my satellite radio.
By the way,
keep in touch, man.
Yeah,
you're going to cut us off here right away.
Okay. Sorsby, we'll see if the NFL's not given permission on that. So, yet.
Thanks for reminding me. I was going to open with that.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you, Ziggy.
You're welcome.
Keep it up.
All right,
Have a great summer.
Love you.
All right.
Bye.
Love you too, buddy. Zig Fracassi, SiriusXM NFL Radio, chiming in. We'll be right back with a sports update viewer takeover here on Silver State Sports, Game Plus streaming and WQVZ.
For a night of rock with the Gene Simmons Band.
You know your man is working hard. He's worth a team.
Saturday, December 5th, Temple Garden Center.
Now.
The Gene Simmons Band performing your favorite classic hits. Tickets on sale now at sasktix.ca. Don't miss the Gene Simmons Band.
Get ready to make unforgettable memories with your little ones at Elmo's Got the Moves, the all-new Sesame Street live show coming to your neighborhood. Friday, December 4th, Temple Garden Center. Tickets on sale now at SaskTix.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
All right, welcome back, everybody. It's the RP Show, Silver State Sports, Game Plus streaming, WQVZ, wherever you're finding us. Thank you for making us part of your day, as we used to say, that old broadcast line. Here's the thing with what's awesome about this live streaming. Old farts like Zig and I, when we used to put together sports updates, we actually, silly us, did it hours before the show, the morning up. So much has changed. Why would I even read a sports update? I mean, the biggest one has come out of Las Vegas, and it has to do with the Golden Knights. And bear with me, here it is. This is the news of Tuesday. Vegas Golden Knights General Manager Kelly McCrimmon announced today, June 16th, the following update. John Tortorella will not return to the team's coaching staff following the 2025-26 season. I'm not going to read the statement from Kelly because I read it earlier off the top of the show. Somebody had tipped off that this was coming, but like one of the insiders. But I'll be honest with you, until I these days hear it right from the team, I don't believe anything. So here it is. John Tortorella out. Thank you for your efforts. It was a success, despite what some of the Rudy Poos have to say. And now the insider saying that Ryan Craig, the American Hockey League coach of the Henderson Silver Knights, will be the next head coach of the Golden Knights. And if he is, good luck to him. The Golden Knights don't make mistakes. So that's the news there. What else do I have in the old bag of tricks? Hang on. There is the actual sports update that I was having together. And I should tell you, the text line is open to the end of the hour, 902-518-3033. Zig addressed this at the end of the interview there. The Sorsby saga is over. That's the headline for yahoo.com. But here's what they wrote, and then I'll tell you what I think. Brendan Sorsby won't play for Texas Tech after all, as the quarterback at the center of a sordid gambling saga will instead apply for the NFL supplemental draft after a lawsuit filed by the Big 12 was otherwise set to pave the way for sanctions against Texas Tech. So the kid was banned forever by NCAA football for betting. 9,000 bets. He might have a bit of a problem. Sought treatment. That didn't matter to the NCAA. So he went to a court in Amarillo. Judge says, you can play. I want to bet he's a Red Raider fan, that judge. But in the crap storm that's ensued in the last week, Sorsby's just said, which included Matt DeBuck came on here and ripped the hell out of him. DeBuck's a Texas Tech alum, one of our football analysts. And that's fine. He's entitled to his opinion. But I think Sorsby's like, yeah, I don't need this. I'm just going to go play in the NFL. I'll declare for the draft. And listen, as Zig just, and I knew, without even me knowing, I knew the NFL had not ruled on this. They had not made a decision on this. They're not sure whether they're willing to welcome Brendan Sorsby into the NFL. The guy placed 9,000 bets in college football and was banned forever. Do you think the NFL is willing to just open their doors? How big of a second chance guy is Roger Goodell? Because the Canadian Football League wouldn't do it in an identical situation with Arlen Bruce IV at Iowa. Hawkeyes. So it ain't this. The saga is not over, is what I'm trying to get at. And it's sad. I don't like the one-strike rule off with your head, but I'm not making the rules. Cubs center fielder Pete Crow Armstrong hit for the first cycle of the MLB season after getting his requisite hits in reverse order with a first-inning homer, third-inning triple, fifth-inning double, and seventh-inning single en route to a walk-off victory over the Rockies on Monday. Longhorn shortstop Adrian Rodriguez hit for the third cycle in College World Series history as the number 6 Texas Longhorns annihilated and eliminated number 7 Alabama 14-2. Plus, Oklahoma held off number 3 Georgia by a 4-3 score in Monday's other game to reach the semifinals. The Chicago Bulls have found their next head coach, hiring interim Trailblazers head coach Tiago Splitter to replace Billy Donovan, who left the team in April after 6 seasons at the helm. The NBA's only remaining head coaching vacancies are Portland and Dallas. I mean, thank God for Yahoo.com. Keeps me up to date on all of the sports that I haven't really been following a ton. The sports update is brought to you by our friends at Ultimate Fan Zone. Don't just watch the game, live it up. Gear up at Ultimate Fan Zone. Moose Jaw today. Jerseys, cards, collectibles, find it all at ultimatefanzone.ca. So for the viewers on both sides of the border, I'll address all your questions when we come back for overtime right after this, and that includes CBC dropping Hockey Night in Canada. It's kind of a big deal. But there's some misinformation out there with that I'll straighten out when we come back. 902-518-3033 or the streaming chat. We'll return in a moment. Game Plus streaming WQVZ and Silver State Sports.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too. Al-Anon and Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Looking for a new ride without the big city pressure? Come to Western Dodge in Moose Jaw, where you'll find an unbeatable lineup of Ram trucks, Jeep SUVs, Dodge Muscle, and Chrysler family rides. With knowledgeable staff, great prices, and that friendly Moose Jaw touch, you'll drive away with confidence. Western Dodge. Big selection, small town service. Visit us today or browse online at westerndodge.ca. Well, I said it. I said for viewers on both sides of the border, so I'll address your questions because I know there's a lot of people watching in Calgary, home of Overtime Hockey Lanes right now, an amusement park for hockey players. Was supposed to be getting out to Calgary this weekend. That's changed, so I apologize. I'll be getting there this summer, but not this weekend. I don't think, although that could change. It's only Tuesday, but it is where skill and fun collide. Baseball has batting cages. Golf has driving ranges. Why would you not have a shooting lane? Well, they do at Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary. I can't believe it's only there because it's so amazing. $20 an hour for lane time. Shoot as many pucks as you want, plus all the other fun things. Licensed bar for the parents. If that's their thing, just go check them out and thank me later. 28th Street Northeast, Calgary. The highlight of my day is doing this show. We only got about 4 minutes left in today's show. It's a heavy day. Like I woke up, was it last night or this morning? I can't remember when. It was last night. I got the news that Kyle Calder had passed away at the age of 47, former Regina Pat, close friend of mine. I told those stories at the top of the show. We go back to the 90s together where we spent 4 years together. Then he went on to 10 years in the NHL. And it's heavy. So when I go off the air, I'll be thinking about that because I will say this. You never get used to it. You never get used to it. Passing away at a young age, and it doesn't matter how. Condolences to his family. He was a great NHLer, man. And the Pats fans are mourning as well. So anyways, the questions, thanks, Greece. And good luck in the big hockey arena in the sky. We'll see you again one day. What's rocking Canadian hockey fans more than anything, including the Leafs trading Joseph Woll, their starting goaltender, to Philadelphia for a backup, is CBC, that's Canada's PBS, dropping Hockey Night in Canada, where it's aired since 1931. It's another reason why I need to let this go. For instance, I just saw the tweet. This guy does a really good job. Follow him on Twitter, World Hockey Report. He's really funny. Seems like my kind of guy. He said, is Canada collapsing? CBC dropping Hockey Night in Canada. This one guy here, Dan in Winnipeg, I don't know where he went, but he's all over it. Hockey Night in Canada's gone. No, it's not gone. Hockey Night in Canada will still air on Sportsnet every night. It's just the TV channel, the over-the-air TV channel, as we call it, won't be carrying it anymore because they don't carry anything anymore, sports-wise, that I've seen. But it's Hockey Night in Canada will still go on Sportsnet. Your life's not going to change one damn bit. I was thinking about this with all the rule changes in the CFL, the 35-second play clock, the modified rouge this year. Nobody's even noticed. They haven't even noticed. A couple of years it was, after allowing a field goal, the offense will start at the 35-yard line. They moved it up to the 40. Nobody noticed. Again, it's just something to sit and bitch about for another day or two till the next thing comes along is kind of where we're at. For instance, John in Edmonton writes, then he says, Rod, how do you think hockey on Saturdays in Canada is going to look on TV? The only way to watch NHL now is on Sportsnet or Sportsnet Plus, paid service, or NHL Center Ice. Do you not have cable, John? Like, I'll take my tongue out of my cheek here. These are very serious times in the broadcast world, and that's why we covet our time on Silver State Sports and covet our time with Game Plus, because it's very, very difficult to get on the air, period, let alone stay there. And now, with all the streaming, don't even get me started. You're saying you got to pay to watch Hockey Night in Canada. That's part of your cable package. I don't know. Don't get me going on the soapbox. The thing that annoys me the most is that all the men and women that made it. Hockey Night in Canada built the NHL brand, man. It did. And it deserves better than to just be announced in a tweet. Oh, yeah, we're dropping it. That's the disgusting part out of all of this. But I saw somebody, an American sportscaster, say, I'm afraid for where this business is going. Right? And I think the biggest thing, stick with me, everybody. The biggest thing for the people that say, oh, TV is going to be gone in 2 years. They've been saying that for 20 years. And what were we all watching the Stanley Cup on the other night? Oh, yeah, TV. What were we all watching the NBA Finals Game 5 on? Oh, yeah, TV. What do we all watch the NFL? Oh, yeah, TV. So I don't know. 902-518-3033. Okay. We have the 2-minute warning from our guy. Tomorrow, I don't have anybody lined up yet, but that's okay. I think we're going to have the voice of the Lions. Well, if he's available, Bob Marjanovic, voice of the Lions. Been a while since we've had him on. Be interested to see what you all are. When we come back here tomorrow, in hour 1 on Game Plus streaming, it's going to be just me, the Larry King of Sports Talk. Hello, John in Edmonton. Hello. Gloria in Round Rock, Texas. You're on the air. Those were great days with Larry King. Those days are gone. Just so everybody knows. Hour 1 solo, and then the Silver State, Nevada hour, Bob Marjanovic. I don't even know that he's going to be on. I haven't asked him yet, but I'm assuming he will be. To talk about all what's the latest in the Lions. I just ran into him on the weekend. Great guy. But I'm enjoying the grease fire that is the World Cup, aren't you? I mean, the games themselves are what they are. Moose and I, shameless plug, will be hosting the watch-along as the soccer people. I don't even know the terminology of this sport. So I got a lot of learning to do between now and Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Mountain when Canada plays Qatar, and Moose and I are doing what they call a watch-along, which is a live stream from the streaming platform Gosh, presented by the Global Crypto Casino BC Game. They sent me a uniform to wear. So if nothing else, tune in to see me in a uniform. I might actually wear it on Thursday's RP show, just for spits and giggles. So, hey, be good to each other. Most importantly, be good to yourself. Stop worrying about everything and have a good rest of the day. And we'll see you tomorrow here on the RP show. Thanks for tuning in.
That